Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do a knife ramble and talk about hollow grinds. So, you guys might know I love a hollow grind. I love a good hollow grind. It's probably my favorite grind. It is, by far, my favorite grind. I'm a big fan, and they can be done in different ways by different companies. And there's a lot of ways to go about it. I've learned a lot about the manufacturing part of hollow grinds and grinding, working with Devo knives and trying to get knives made overseas and just communicating with these OEMs and trying to get hollow grinds done. And some of these companies, they don't really think hollow grinds are good anymore. They think that they're for like cheap knives. They're not, I guess they're not paying attention to the community. But it used to be a thing that would be on a lot of cheap knives. Like you would get a gas station knife like this, and here you go. It has a hollow grind on it. So, by the way, this is an absolute piece of shit. This is called the Evatac or Evatac. Please do not listen to Alex Jones. He is telling people that these knives are incredible quality and would cost $200 at Cabela's. This is a $10 knife on Amazon, guys. Please do not listen to Alex Jones, at least not in regards to that. You know what I mean? I have lost respect for people at this point. Anyway, some of these OEMs still think that hollow grinds are for those cheaper knives, but yet I'll get emails from them saying, well, if you want to do the hollow grind, it's going to cost a lot more. It's going to take a lot longer because of the finishing process. So it's like, which one is it? You know what I mean? Anyway, I love a hollow grind because of two reasons. One, they look fucking badass, okay? It's been said maybe that I'm an aesthetics first kind of guy. The knife needs to work and be functional and be comfortable, and it all needs to go together, right? But if a knife is ugly, I'm out. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. It could be the best knife ever. So aesthetics are important to me, and hollow grinds look amazing, in my opinion. You just have that sort of like contrast sort of on the blade, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with flat grinds. I love flat grinds, and you'll probably see flat grinds from Devo knives, but we're going to try to do hollow grinds when we can. The second reason is you can have a thin edge, but still have decent stock thickness, so you have a strong blade, essentially, but yet you can have a thin edge because of the hollow grind. You can have a shorter grind and have it be thin. You can also have a strong tip with a thin edge because of the way a hollow grind works. So I'm not an expert in grinding. I'm not a knife maker. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. Go Google hollow grind and listen to some knife maker who explains it. Not the expert. This is just all based on my opinion, my experience, blah, 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 right? Take that liability right there, okay? So, you'll see a range here, right? None of these are like budget, right? I just don't have a lot of budget knives. I'm sure there are some that I've had with hollow grinds that I really like, but I just don't have any here. The cheapest knife on the table, honestly, is this one. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. This is made in Taiwan. It probably has the shallowest hollow grind as well. You could see how thin the stock is, right? So let's start with this. What is a hollow grind, right? A hollow grind is where they take a wheel and they take it on both sides, usually at the same time, at least you can, and the wheel is grinding, essentially, out the steel, right, on the blade. So you have a piece of steel this thick right here, right? But they're taking a wheel against it, and it's grinding. I guess it has sandpaper or something on it. I don't know how that works. Grit against it, and it's grinding it out. And what you have then is a hollow. So from right here to down here is it's much thinner here than it is here, right? Does that make sense? You can feel it. If I take something flat and put it against it, shout out to whoever taught me this when I was looking at my prototypes, you can see there's a gap there. You see that? You see how there's a gap in the center, like right here to here? So if this were a flat grind, this would be flat all the way across. That Sharpie would be touching steel all the way across, but it's not. There's a gap there. Hope you can see that. You can also feel it. It just feels amazing. That's one of the main reasons I love a hollow grind. You can feel how thin it is. And when it's a ridiculous hollow grind, like this one, yeah, I swear you can feel your finger on the other side. It's so cool how thin they get these, right? So let me give you an example of a flat grind here. This is the EDC Nimble. And if I take this same Sharpie here and I lay it down, you see how it's laying completely across that grind? There's no gap in that. It's just flat. This is flat from here down. Now it gets thinner from here down. It gets thinner, at least I'm pretty sure it does. It thins out as it goes down, but it's flat, so to speak. Where this, as it goes down, it's swooping inward, right? If that makes sense. It kind of swoops in a little bit. Concave, is that the right word? And then it thins out as it comes down. It's really cool. So there you go. You can see the difference there. There's a big hollow in there. That's kind of the point. All right, so that's kind of an explanation. I hope that makes sense. And what that does is, as this thins out, you know what I would love? I would love to have Knife Nerdery make this video. Kevin, shout out to Kevin, guys. Let's all badger him till he does a video about grinds. And he could do a video detailing each grind type. Maybe he already did that and I missed it. But, yeah. So you can see how from here you have this thick stock. That thick stock continues all the way down, right? And then obviously you're going to have a taper. I think it's called a distal taper that goes all the way down to the tip. But because this is kind of hollowed out to the tip here, you keep that strength up here in the tip. I hope that makes sense. Because the spine is not being ground. Where I suppose here you're losing that because this is getting ground right here. The flat grind is into the tip. I don't know. That's actually a good question. I don't know exactly why it keeps your tip strong. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I think that's the reasoning right there. But I could be wrong. Who knows? So that's kind of an explanation of a hollow grind and why I love them. Now, let's get into some differences in hollow grind. So you have the gungner here. This is the Renegade Provisions Code gungner. Shout out to Chris. You can go over to his website. I'm pretty sure they're still available if you want one. This is a Big Mama Jamma. This is a 4 1/4 inch blade, 4-inch cutting edge. It's like 9 or 9.5 inches overall, maybe even more. I have no idea. It's freaking massive. But it carries like a dream, and it's an excellent knife. Great action, made by Riat. I love it. So this hollow grind, you can see you have a tall blade, and the grind starts about here, 1/3 of the way down, and then 2/3 of the blade is ground. You get a really good hollow grind. Comes down to a very thin edge, makes it super slicey. And it makes a blade with this kind of stock able to have a thickness behind the edge, probably under 20 thousandths on this guy. That's a really good hollow grind. That's done by Riat, and Riat does a great job with their hollow grinds. Here's another one from them. This is the Ware Lucas P, and this one will be a little harder for you to see, but you can tell it's been hollow ground. Can you? You can see it a little bit there. There's a little bit of a gap on the Sharpie there. It is, I can tell you. It's not a deep hollow grind, but it's a good one on this one. Then you also have the Luft Concepts Avant, guys. This is designed by my good buddy Jake over at Bearded Gear and Ryan Rimmer of Rimmer Designs. And the thing that's unique for me about this one is the hollow grind starts way up here, and it actually is into the hole. So the grind is already starting when you get out of the hole here. And that's just unique in my opinion. If you see other ones with slots or holes, the grind is usually going to start underneath that hole, right? See that one? This one had studs, so I guess technically that one kind of starts there, but this is modded. I added the hole. Well, I didn't do it, but you know what I mean. This is the Evo 2.0. You see where it starts? This is the Curtis Knives F3. See how it starts down there? So the big difference on this one, and I think it makes it a unique knife in that aspect. This knife is unique in a lot of ways. It is such a lightweight knife. It's ridiculous. This thing has grown on me, guys. I really liked the prototype when I reviewed it. Of course, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I love Jake, but it wasn't like, it didn't blow me away, the prototype. I liked it. Like, you know what I mean? This is a great EDC knife. So lightweight. You still get 3.5 inches of blade. Very comfortable in hand. Good action. All that stuff, right? But it's just not like my aesthetic kind of thing and whatever. But since I've had this production version, I've fallen in love. So, for whatever that's worth, guys. But anyway, the grind starts here. So it just looks unique as fuck. And then you have a very nice hollow grind. So you got a decent stock. It's not like thick. And then you have an aggressive hollow grind on it. So it's kind of like combining this awesome deep hollow grind with a thinner stock. You know what I mean? It just makes it really, really crazy thin behind the edge. They targeted 15 thousandths. This is also made by Riat, and I think they nailed it. Another cool thing about hollow grinds is it doesn't always, it can lead to really cool acoustics. So when you hear this close, you hear that ting? And I don't usually get that unless it's a hollow grind. Like the Something Obscene Company J-Cape has an awesome ting. Really good hollow grind on that knife. So those are the Riat ones that I have right now that I think are really good. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint from, again, Quiet Carry, and it's a thinner hollow grind on this because you have a super thin stock. This can't be more than 0.1 stock, maybe 0.09. And then you get a little bit of a hollow grind there, and that's plenty on this knife. I absolutely love it. It reminds me of sort of a CRK or Chris Reeve knives Sabenza grind, and I know a lot of people like the hollow grind on those knives. I just think it's really good for a user knife is to have a good hollow grind. So then we have some higher end knives, I'd say, with the Chris Reeve, the custom knife factory knives. These are made in China, but the company hails from Russia, and they're put together there. So they're kind of like assembled and tuned in Russia, but made in China, if that makes sense. This is the Satori 2.0. This is an integral flipper, and it also has the fuller and these blade stops, so you can flick it. And this hollow grind is incredible. This company, I always thought that their knives were made by Riat, because if you look at the grind lines, they just have a very, very similar feel. And those are the only two companies I've seen who have those epic grind lines like that. Other companies do good ones. It's just these are so noticeable and just even and gorgeous. I've always just thought their blades were done by Riat, but apparently they're done by Kevin John. That's a company out of China. Used to make clones, but now they're kind of on the up and up doing cool stuff. And honestly, every Chinese OEM used to make clones. This is a really cool one because it's a dual grind or compound grind. So you have a hollow grind back here, and then you'll see up here, as we get closer to the tip, it's a flat grind. So I don't know what that does exactly, if that gives you the strong tip still. I'm starting to think a flat grind has a stronger tip than a hollow, but I don't know. Somebody needs to explain the tip thing to me. I am sort of dumb, so. But it feels really good. It's a nice thin hollow. And the reason for this being a hollow grind and why it's good is because you only have the grind starting here. So you have a short area to get from full thickness down to a thin edge if you want it to be a good knife. You know what I mean? And a good way to do that is to do a hollow grind because it thins out quick. And then you can get that that thin edge. So that's why this one has a hollow grind. Plus, again, it looks badass. And then this is one of my favorite knives of all time. The Custom Knife Factory Evolution or Evo 2.0, designed by John Sorensen, Rotten Designs. Just an incredible knife. Look how thick that stock is. Yet that grind starts up here. It is a deep, aggressive hollow. I need to emphasize aggressive. It is really good. Probably still the most aggressive hollow grind I've felt. The gungner is gonna be close, and it possibly is thinner, honestly. And then you have the Avant is just different because it's a thinner stock to begin with. But both of these are possibly the same or thinner, but this just feels so thin. I don't know what it is about this. It's just the most amazing grind I've ever felt. I absolutely love the Evo 2.0. Yeah, just an amazing knife right here. And you will get some that make cool sounds. This one kind of does that clack at the end. I think it's because of this clip. It's aftermarket. I need to try switching the clip back and see if it takes away that sound, because I don't love it, but it's okay. Anyway, epic hollow grind. Now we get into more custom knives. This knife is made by Curtis Custom Knives. I don't know how custom they are. I think they're more like Hinderer and Medford, where a lot of it is hand done, obviously, but it's still sort of a production knife. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong. It could be fully handmade, or it doesn't have to be handmade to be custom, but you get my point. Anyway, it's a cool knife. You have a Warncliffe blade. Grind starts here. It's not a super thin hollow grind, but it's a good one. It feels really good, and it cuts really well. Comes down to an excellent edge because of that. Again, it helps you take a thick stock like this and bring it down to a thinner edge by doing a hollow grind. And then probably my favorite hollow grind of all time, hands down, is the Trevor Burger Custom LEXK hollow grind. This is on my CFL, which is a frame lock. And what I love about it is it's a full hollow grind. I have never in my life, before or since, seen a company or maker or whatever do a full hollow grind. I don't even know if that's a term. I made it up. But a full flat grind is where you start at the spine and you do a flat grind from the top all the way down. It's what Spyderco does, right? Everybody raves about Spyderco because they do a full flat grind. An example of that would be this here, Mallory Designs Forest. It's a full flat grind. So from the top up here, the spine, it is a flat grind all the way down. You don't have any type of swedge. You don't have any type of flats like on here. You have this flat here, and then the grind starts. Does that make sense? Where a full flat, it starts from the spine straight down. Well, this is a hollow grind that starts like that. From the spine down, and it is unbelievably thin. It is one of the best grinds I've ever seen on a knife. I am not an expert, so you know, grain of salt here, guys, but it's epic. It really is. Here's a little, you can see that gap there again. It's very pronounced. It's super deep. It's just amazing, guys. I absolutely just love the hollow grind from Trevor Burger. So I believe this is a hand custom. Like, he makes every piece of this by hand. Can't be certain because it's such a good and clean and well-made piece that it baffles my mind to think that he does this all by hand. So I just think he does some CNC, but I could be crazy. Anyway, best hollow grind I've ever seen. So if you want to experience that, find it Trevor Burger. He does do a sheep's foot blade that is not a full hollow, but it's still a really good one. And then I think the spear points are all full hollow grind. Again, this one makes cool sounds because of it. So it is what it is. Absolutely love hollow grinds, guys. I hope that kind of explains it and summarizes it. Again, not an expert, but I wanted to put it out there because it's kind of a fun topic. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you a hollow grind fan? Are you a flat grind fan? You know, if you want to give me a breakdown of all the different grinds, we can do that. There's also like concave or zero grinds, I think they're called. There's some where they actually bend out. So instead of a hollow grind where it bends inward, it kind of grinds, the belt grinds it in. There's a way to kind of do it where it's out. It kind of like has a, you know, outward concave feel to it. That's just insane to me. It has to be hard, but I think you see that more on like camping knives and stuff. I think like Mora Knives does it or something like that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.